All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Kubernetes SIG IBMCloud meeting today on September 12, 2018. And I see all the regular folks, Kubernetes contributors, and from IBM Cloud side. So as we all know, please keep in mind that this is a public meeting and it's being recorded, and we will make this recording available on the YouTube. So please be considerate of what you say. I have the link for agenda in the chat, so please take a look. The agenda seems very light today. Some folks from IBM Cloud private team, including the co-lead Khalid, is traveling, so he's not able to join. I was told by a couple of folks who regularly join from RTP side, where I'm located, they're not going to make because of preparation for the hurricane we are expecting in the RTP. So with that, I guess we can just look at the agenda and see if we have anything more than what's out there. So the first item, the quick updates. We have, in past two meetings of the SIG, we talked about this earlier, the SIG charter. It's required by all the SIGs, and we have created a PR with the charter, which we reviewed in this meeting earlier. But we did get some comments. The good thing is steering committee is, have take ownership on the reviewing side, and they are reviewing. So this is a review from Aaron from the steering committee. I have addressed all the comments. I did share the comments with Doug and IBM SIG leads from the cloud side. So I had some feedbacks. With those feedbacks and some other things, I have created a new PR just this morning. So we just gonna wait. I did let Aaron know that the updates are there. So hoping to have the review again and have the chart merge in near future. Other than that, any comments on charter from anyone? Seems pretty straightforward right now, but still, if there's any thoughts, or later, if you take a look at the PR, I have a link in the agenda. You take a look at it, and if you have any comments, please let me know, or put your comments in the PR itself as well, and we can make the charter better. Other than that, the other item, and again, I don't think we have we want to talk a lot in this meeting, but probably it's for the next meeting and onwards. Shanghai KubeCon is coming up. We are pretty much 2 months away from it, and we will be having a introductory and deep dive session on IBM Cloud SIG. So it's something we'll be talking, like I said, most likely from next meeting. I will work on it with the Doug and other co-leads and create some charts there. And we'll talk more on that later. Also, I just wanted to let everyone know that we had a presenter for this meeting today, but he had a conflict came up at last minute and he could not present. So he promised to present in the next SIG meeting. It's an interesting topic with the Fidel deep learning platform. It's open source platform, and how to sort of why they're using Kubernetes, right, with IBM Cloud. So that'll be a good topic for everyone next time. Other than that, I don't have any other topic in the agenda, so it's pretty much open discussion. If anyone has any other topic, we can discuss today.
Yeah, I had a topic.
Oh, perfect.
So I was thinking about the charter and some discussion we had yesterday about the cloud provider code. So I just want to make sure that if we go in the direction of using, so IKS is the cloud provider, that there's not an ICP cloud provider or some other IBM cloud provider, because I'd like to have let's have one cloud provider that's from IBM, right? That we would put in a repo. And just so I'm clear on that, is the path forward that we're looking at using the IKS cloud provider as that going forward? Is that the case?
Absolutely, yes,
Okay.
Richard. That's what I actually had in mind, and I think I mentioned in one of the SIG meeting earlier. I think you were on vacation or you could not attend, maybe last meeting or previous. But you're right. We're gonna have just one repo, and that's repo will be leveraged, right? From ICP side, from SoftLayer. I know a few weeks back we had Eduardo from SoftLayer side, and he was asking about some of the clients looking forward for something similar, right? But yeah, that will be one repo, and I guess we should have all code there, just one IBM cloud provider repo. Does that make sense, Richard? That's what I think you were asking, right?
Yeah, it is, right. And I mean, with that too, we don't necessarily have at this time anyway. Like if we gave a public repo for our cloud provider and put it out there, and customers wouldn't be able to pick that up and stand up a Kubernetes cluster because there's no installer associated with that cloud provider. Does that make sense?
Yep, absolutely. And I mean, to me, Doug, please add if any comments. But to me, that sounds good. I guess down the road we can work on that, right? We can think more on that and even get some sort of community or customer views, right? But once we have the skeleton with what we can make it public, and people can just take a look at the code, right? And the community itself, the IBM committers to the code and others, right? We can basically work on the code once it's there, right? I mean, even not with the installer, something we can try locally, right? Just downloading the code and work on it. But that's my thoughts. So it sounds good to me. I don't see any problem there.
Yeah, I don't think there's a requirement that just because you put a provider out there that the back-end system then has to be made open source as well, that other people can download it. I think it's just they just want you to, or they're just trying to encourage you to open source the glue code, basically.
Got it. Okay. All right. Yeah, I just wanted to make sure that there was no other expectation beyond just open sourcing the code that we already have it behind the firewall right now. And I think that makes sense. The thing is, I guess Doug or anyone else know internally who I should probably talk to. I assume we're going to need a set of approval on our legal side that says, okay, we can go and open source this or not, right?
Yeah, we could talk about that offline. We don't need to talk about it on this particular call because that's an IBM internal process question.
Sure. Okay. And then just so you guys are aware, on the cloud provider front, I have been attending those SIG cloud provider meetings just to keep up on where they're going with the cloud provider. And from what it looks like for Kubernetes 1.12 anyway, that there's not going to be significant changes in as far as the packaging, building, and so on of the cloud providers. That has been kicked out to 1.13. So we're going to try to align our work with that on the 1.13 timeframe to see if we can start getting a skeleton out there and start moving towards making that and available, and also getting the build process modified so we can leverage it, because at this time there's still kind of in flux how things will be packaged and structured on the cloud provider front. So yeah, so I'll reach out to folks here internally to just see where we go to at least start that progress of getting a repo out there.
Absolutely. Thanks, Richard. That sounds great. Like you said, even though with the cloud provider SIG, it will take some time, right, for them to get through all the processes, making it smoother for further integration from other cloud provider. But yeah, having Skeleton as you work with everyone, like I said, offline, and have it out, that'll be great, right? I think people will really like it. It will be actually better for the SIG itself, to explore the some of the codes out there, right? So I think that sounds like a plan. Hopefully, if we can have something, and it's again, I guess we're gonna work on it. We all. But before the KubeCon Shanghai, which is 2 months away, right? Like the prep call I was saying for the presentation there, guess we can use all this material to let the bigger crowd know about the progress we are making. So that sounds good. Thanks, Richard. Any other topic? Well,
I had just one on announcement on general network policy stuff. So in the latest release, we're promoting the egress and the IP block sections of Kubernetes network policy to GA from beta. It's been kind of a year in the making just to make sure it stews and people are satisfied with it. We clarified some of the docs and made sure that there was proper, I guess we followed the proper guidelines to make sure it was accepted into the features list officially. So this has been a long time coming, but it's something that we as IBM have been contributing to heavily for the past year, along with Calico and Red Hat.
Awesome. We were using it like it was GA anyways, Chris.
Yeah, which I guess is a good thing, because sometimes we did fall into a trap, I think, originally in network policy of maybe having some missing things and rushing it out. So we wanted to make sure we had plenty of time to catch any bugs along the way.
Cool.
Yep, that sounds great. That was a good update, Chris. Thanks.
I think just one little comment on the scope. It might help for future topics to say what is out of scope as well. For example, defining an internal IBM public cloud and private cloud, product decisions, that sort of thing. Right.
Mike, is that in regards to the charter out of scope, or sorry?
Yeah.
So right now,
it's more for interacting between those two groups than it is for making decisions for the IBM groups, right? So it would be nice to make that clear here, right?
Okay, sure. Yeah, we can work on that, right, and make it. So right now, yeah, we just mentioned that anything which is commercial related to the cloud is not part of the SIG at all. Right. But we can work on that, make it more clear. So that sounds good.
I did, as Chris was bringing up the point of network policy going GA, I did want to ask folks' opinion on kubeDNS versus core DNS. So the community now has GA of core DNS. kubeDNS is there as well. It's what we've been using in IKS, and probably a lot of folks have been using. And certainly there's a transition period where you could go to core DNS or back, I suppose. But the question is, does anybody know like the long-term goal in the community? Is it to deprecate kubeDNS and replace with core, or allow us to have a ability of to be flexible in that area?
It is, I believe, accepted for deprecation starting in 1.12. So it'll be 1 year later, it'll be officially deprecated.
kubeDNS was accepted?
Well, kubeDNS, core DNS was accepted as like listed in the docs as going to be the default. kubeADM is already using it as the default as of last release.
So we would potentially see then kubedns being deprecated in 1.13.
Because it is a GA thing, we have to follow basically a 3 release. I think. Not sure what the correct term would be, but you basically have to wait the equivalent of a year, 3 or 4 releases, I believe, before you can actually remove something and stop supporting it.
Got it. Okay, so there'll be a long leadway, kind of like Keepster is. Okay.
Yeah, I believe it's 6 months for something that's like beta. Alpha is pretty much instantly, and I think GA things is about a year, which would be like 3 to 4 releases.
All right, thanks, Chris.
Yeah, and that's the minimum. Typically, they'll let it run for longer than that. They postpone complete deprecations and removal on quite a few things.
Yep, that makes sense. Oh, that was great. That was great. So thanks, Chris and Mike and Richard, everyone. Yeah, anything else? Any other topic? Otherwise, Doug and I can talk for another 40 minutes on our preparation for the Hurricane Florence. No, we will give the time back. will not do that, Doug, right?
Well, it's going to miss us now. It's heading south. It's going to hit South Carolina. So we're all good.
Yeah, I mean, this morning or later this morning, it says it's, I mean, I think there's still the state advisory is there, right? To be prepared for the worst.
Yeah, and they don't know for sure it's going to go to South Carolina, but that's where they're planning on it going as of right now. So yeah.
Okay, that's great to hear. Yep. So anyone, any other topic for discussion? That was a really good discussion. If not, then I guess we can all get remaining time back. Well, I think that's the case. So thanks, everyone.
Cheers.
And, yep, cheers. Have a nice rest of the day, and talk to you soon. Thanks for joining.
Thanks, Dev.
Yep. Bye.
Thanks,